let's go. So I was promising the prompt engineering without bullshit. That is why I'm creating this. I was in a huge pain when I started doing it, watching the infinite amount of YouTube videos with people giving like 40 different hints on doing very, very different things. I was watching outdated videos. I was watching the newest videos. I was reading the posts. So it took me quite a lot of time to research this topic, and also everything that I'm presenting here is something that I personally been using and what I can really see also from our users who I speak with in Discord. And by the way, we also have the Discord. So I hope, Kate, can you please send the link to Discord in the chat? And if you want to join and talk about things like you will see today, happy to have you there. So let's go to the next slide. A few words about me. I'm Ilya. I was doing stand-up comedy before. I was into mathematics. I was doing plenty of different things. Currently, I'm success manager at Refact.ai. It means that I'm doing plenty of different things. You'll be seeing me if you try to purchase the version for enterprises. You'll also communicate with me if you want to, get some extra support in Discord. Sometimes I'm the one who is helping. And yeah, I'm also working with our solution. I'm working with the solutions of our competitors. So I believe I can, bring some expertise regarding this topic. So yeah. First question is, where do you really need the prompt engineering? And for me, the answer is clear. Oh yeah, first we start with the meme. You can see it. I just decided to include some of the memes here. And in my opinion, the place where you really need the prompt engineering is when you work with something where you have extremely expensive generation or low ability to customize after getting output. And I don't believe that this is really the case of working with AI agents. So it is not really about programming. But what to do if I want to learn how to prompt the AI to write code for me? And for me, the answer, if you would ask me this somewhere on the street and I wouldn't have time to present the 30-minute slides, I would say practice. So why practice? Because actually nobody knows what you want to build, and it will be very different from each case. If I'm building something like Refact.ai clone, I will need some specific tools. I will need some specific knowledge. I will probably use some big models like Claude 4 to support this. I will use the tools like Refact.ai to build it, actually. I would never go to Lovable or to Bolt, but I will go in deep a bit later. And also the specific prompts like act as a developer, a senior developer are not really showing any effectiveness. So there are plenty of buzz around prompt engineering. And from what I saw is that a lot of things are really at least misleading. In some cases, they're just waste of time. And it is important to understand that when it comes to programming, it is not really about what you write. It is also about how you work with AI and the effectiveness of this connection. And the first thing that I really, really want to recommend to everyone is simply learn the basics. I hope that, majority of people here actually already did it. But I attached a meme from 2020 where people were basically making fun of the new programmers who were using Stack Overflow and Googling everything without, knowing a lot of things. But reality is even, I would say, worse right now. And if you are coming into AI and you are vibe coding, there are plenty of things that you might miss out. I'm not saying that you should block this, but if you are building something without any prior experience, I would really, really recommend to go into some basic course of at least working with terminal and so on. But yeah, this is the first hint. And the second, and it's actually the main part, is you can speed up the context management by using the right tools. And why context management is so important in programming, I think it's clear that when you want to generate an image, or if you want to generate an email, or something like even a huge report or analysis of the market, you will use context. Definitely, it will be plenty of context, but usually manually feeding context inside of your LLM when especially you're trying to code something is not the best thing. So first, let's choose the tool. And in my opinion, your tool ideally needs to know how to write the code, read the code by itself and iterate over the code base, run commands, run tests, and also be able to test the UI. So not all of this is present in current versions of even our competitors. And what I would say here is Refact.ai can help you with this. Why? And by the way, it's a small integration of our solution. I will speak a little bit about it here. And later, I will mostly speak about the things that you can do with any of the solutions. But what we offer is the automated memory management, which means that when you or other members of your team will interact with the solution, it will remember the trajectories that it used, it will remember the patterns, it will remember the sequences that it used, and it will basically filter out the best versions, and it will not use or repeat the same mistakes because it will also remember it. And we also do have the automated context management, which means you can write anything to our agent and it will go and read the repository by itself. So it will use several tools for this. Then another cool thing that we have is the Chrome integration for UI testing. This is actually something that you can also check out the video on YouTube. I was making a small video about this, but in short, it basically allows our agent to go inside of the Chrome session, whether it's local or the global deployment, and click on the buttons, make screenshots. So it's just helps you to not add the extra things like go and making the screenshots by yourself or going and clicking the simple buttons or testing the simple behavior. This will definitely can do this already. And then for running commands and testing, we have the PDB and shell, and we have MCP for everything else, which we currently don't have as internal tools. So you can definitely integrate with some extra features. And by the way, we're not stealing any of your data, and we are also open source. So we're nice guys. I hope you will please try us out. Okay, and another cool thing about us is that we are currently #1 on SWE Bench. For those who don't know what is it, it's most recognized benchmark, I would say, for programming and AI programming. So here we are #1 on the SWE Bench Lite with 60%, and then we have 70.4 on full verified. So it's just showing for me that we can do a lot of things, and in some cases more than our competitors. So what I also don't like about some of our competitors is that they are not measuring this and not presenting it publicly. So tools like Cursor, Windsurf, of course, Lovable is actually like made for a different purpose, not really for programming, like programming with the huge code bases, for example. It's only works with the new projects. So it's just something that I would avoid personally, is getting to the tools which are not open about what they can achieve, which are not measuring it, which are not publicly announcing it. And why? It's actually because, I had several cases of people going into our community with something like, oh, I tried your solution after Cursor didn't do something for me, and it worked from zero shot. And yeah, in some cases it will work only in our solution. In some cases it will work. There might be cases where it only work in Cursor. I haven't heard about them yet, but you can definitely bring it up in our Discord. But yeah, so different tools are used for different purposes. And for me, it's also the big part of what you need to do before like getting serious about vibe coding. And I would say that there are tools for programmers, the ones that I mentioned already: Cursor, GitHub Copilot, Refact.ai, Augment Code. There are tools like Lovable, Bolt, Replit for vibe coders. In most of the cases, they are concentrated on basically making flawless integration with the with the database, easier deployment. So it's just a bunch of the features that might be useful if you build in your own project and you don't want to spend time setting it up by yourself completely. So you can try these tools. And for everyone, I would say it's ChatGPT, Manus AI, Claude. So these tools are also, they can write code for you, but they, of course, missing a lot of functionality. Something like I mentioned in the beginning, it cannot write the code for you, it cannot test it, it cannot write it. Actually, Claude had Claude Code, but yeah, they're also missing some of the things like testing of UI. Yeah, and another meme. So it's just for everybody who is worrying right now about the programmer's job. Managers will not really go and do the programming by themselves right now. They might go and do it in several years, but I think developers are currently in the best position because they can do so much more with less time. And it's really currently about making the tool work for you, not really trying it and then say it didn't work in this and this. You need to take several shots. But yeah. So there are several things that also work very good with the context. One of the main things and main mistakes that I saw of people doing is actually having the one huge chat with all the features implemented there. So I would really recommend creating new chats. There are several things why I'm recommending it. So first, it's because you don't attach the context that is not necessary for a specific task. And if you're using something like Refact.ai, you don't need to attach context at all. It will find it by itself. And it's much more beneficial to start from the beginning in many cases rather than dump the information inside the old chat. And the second part of it is that models are quite expensive now, I would say. So we have people who are spending like several hundreds of dollars in just inference every month. So I would say it also helped to, lower the cost of running something like Refact, because it definitely will steal the tokens for the context. It will definitely increase the amount of information that AI will work with. So that is why new chats is very important to create. There is a nice hint. So whenever you start, especially working with the repository that you never worked with AI, it's very beneficial to create something like plan.md with thinking mode of agent and basically make a to-do list there. So if we'll have time, I will be able to show also several things in real life, but in short, you just need to create the MD file, and then after each iteration, when your agent will do something, you just tell to tick the tasks that were already implemented in PlanMD. So this is the replacement of the long-term memory for the project. And also, if we're speaking about the memory, you need to manage the knowledge. So plenty of tools currently have the knowledge. So we allow you also to have the knowledge and then manage this memory. And whenever you see that the new knowledge entry created, just spend a few extra seconds, make sure that it makes sense, because sometimes it can add very weird things that later on might be used. So this is one of the things that I would recommend reviewing all the time. And then while most of the solutions can actually offer you the automated management of context, I would still recommend to attach specific files. In some cases, it's again to lower down the amount of the money that you will pay at the end, because in Refact, we have the coins system where you pay only for what you use. And of course, if you will use a lot of context, you will pay more coins. And in this case, add comment will just save some extra tokens because you will attach the specific file. You will attach this file, it will find the references within this file, it will go and open more relevant files in most of the cases. So it's just something that I would highly recommend. And another cool thing and another cool feature, so it exists in Refact.ai, it probably exist in Cursor. They also have something like this. It's the rollback functionality. So what it does, it basically, at Refact.ai, we implemented in a way that it stores the Git image of your repository. And each time when you see that something is not working, just use this feature. Click on rollback and roll back to the checkpoint where everything was working properly and stably, and just try something different with your prompt. Ask it to make, changes in the approach, or tell what approach was used previous time and ask to avoid it. So it just can help. And I was also hearing some hints from different YouTubers to mention the word something like do something completely different or think outside of the box. So I'm just thinking that sometimes it also might work to specifically mention that the typical solution is not working here. So try something radical or try something out of the box. It will highlight to AI that it's not so simple to implement this task. And another cool thing that I believe everyone should use is create tests. So if you haven't created them yet for your project, you can ask AI to do it. Even few tests, like simple ones, can help you to avoid typical bugs and mistakes that AI can do. So whenever you will ask AI to do something, just mention to run the tests in the end. So it will just give the additional context for AI. It will also, avoid you from stepping into the point when it just some error appears in the terminal and you like, oh, I need to copy and paste this. And this will be also eliminated if, some part of these errors will be eliminated if you will simply add the tests. Ideally, of course, AI will not be able to cover your project, especially if you're working with huge projects fully, but don't forget about the tests. Tests are very important, and especially, I believe, in AI-driven development. And one other hint is actually to use voice interface. So it is something that helped me a lot personally. So I shared my referral link here for one other tool, which is Whisperflow. They, of course, didn't sponsor anything here. It's fully sponsored by Refact.ai. So I just mentioned these guys because they allow you to use the voice input in everywhere. So you just basically click on one button on your laptop, and then you tell it what you need to write. And basically, it removes all the words like who, or something unnecessary, and just leave the dry text, which is very good for me. And it just allows you to iterate faster. And as I mentioned before, working with AI agents is not really about, perfecting the prompt or writing the huge instruction list, but mostly on iterating and trying different things, trying different approaches. And some of them will not work for you. Some of them will work very good. And at the end, you just need to solve the tasks. And iteration always helps here. Yeah, and one other thing is prompt management tools. So basically the ones that allow you to create and remember the prompts that you were creating before. And in my opinion, I really tried to bring up some tools here, but it didn't work for me because whenever I work with AI agent, I can write like 100+ messages per day. So I don't want to, spend my time on saving some of them or whatever. Memory is actually also solving some part of it because it remembers the good prompts. And for example, at Refact.ai, whenever you write something, this prompt doesn't go directly to the AI to write the code. There is basically a bunch of smaller agents. Some of them are helping you to refine this prompt. Some of them are trying to get the knowledge and read something what will be beneficial for the prompt or for the task that you are asking to do. Yeah, so there is also a way, if you're too lazy to write a prompt, you can try to ask AI to write for another AI. And in theory, it might work, but to be honest, it just doesn't work. So when you ask AI to refine the prompts, when you ask AI to, like explain more this, and this, sometimes it might be beneficial. And as I mentioned, we're using it at Refact.ai, but I wouldn't say that you need to do it by yourself. It's just you need to write as you want to see it. You need to be specific. You need to explain what is the problem you're trying to tackle. But I wouldn't ask AI to edit or add something there. And just to sum up all the things that I said, I made a tier list of different things that I recommended today. So tier 0 is practice. Practice is the most important. So if you never tried it, try it. If you already tried it but didn't like it, tools are very different. Try different ones. If you're already using different tools, just make sure that you're using the best one and also working with it in the most effective way. So for example, trying the voice. And tier 1 for me is choosing the right tools, context management with add comments and so on, creating new chats, test-driven development, and rollback functionality. So when something is not working, just roll back. And for tier 2, I would highlight again the voice and plan.markdown. Markdown files are actually something that you can use throughout your AI-driven development for like temporary knowledge and so on. And tier 3 is actually prompt management and prompts from LinkedIn. It's just the huge prompts that are flying everywhere in the internet. It's just, I didn't really see any value in pasting huge amount of things, especially with current AI capabilities. So in some cases, it's even simpler if you're writing something from scratch to not mention any tools or any like specific stack that it should use, because it will choose the ones by default, and in most of the cases it will just deliver it faster and in the better format right away. So this is the tier list from me, some recommendations. We're already almost out of time, so I would go into some Q&As. Okay, how does Refact differ from other AI coding agents? This is my first interaction with Refact, looking for a quick comparison and a summary of its strengths. So the strengths that we have is our RAG pipeline, retrieval augmented generation, which just allows you to work with the context automatically. And as I showed before, what we do and some of our competitors don't do is we measure it and we present it publicly as on SWE bench. And from my experience, some of the things that Refact doing from zero shot are never be able to be completed from tools like Cursor. So this is one thing. The second thing is built-in tools. So tools like Chrome, tools like Python debugger, which actually can add some breakpoints and do different things with your code, the same as you would do it. They also make the difference. So yeah, it's just better context management. That is why better results on benchmarks and tools, which are all ended up with like just working in some cases better. So let's go to the next question. What's the current price model? How much does 5,000 coins currently using Augment and Cursor? Yeah. So what we are doing with the coins, 5,000 coins are $5. So 1,000 is $1. And we actually, for B2C users, so if you're using it for private, like just for yourself, and bought the subscription for like pro subscription that we have, we don't take any cut from it. So if you paid $10, you receive 10,000 coins, and these 10,000 coins are actually equal to real $10 in the inference. So it is the same as you would pay for just API cost. So this is our pricing model. And then for the enterprises and for teams, just let me know if you want to explore this. We have the custom pricing in most of the cases. So it depends on the number of the people who you work to deploy it, on the deployment method, whether it's cloud or whether it's on-prem. So yeah. Okay, how? Oh, Ukra, Hi, Ukro. I would like to ask external Gemini 2.5 Pro some fixes in backlog. For us, currently, the priority is to roll out the memory management for everyone. For now, it's in demo phase for some of the users, and this is the priority. So the Gemini 2.5 Pro fixes, I hope we'll be able to do it in the next sprint, so starting from next week. Sometimes when I generate the code, the AI adds stuff that wasn't asked for. Oh, yeah. So it is tricky to work around the cases when you were generating something, but if it added something that you didn't ask for, you can specifically mention it to remove it, because the rollback functionality in this case will remove also the useful part of this chat. But what I would really say here, again, if it adds something, don't hesitate to ask it not to add it. I was also trying to prompt Claude to not add the extra things, but it just forgets about it. And it seems for me that Claude is always trying to over complete the things. So there is no real workaround for it, but just using different models, seeing what works better for you. And again, iteration. Like the things that I was reading in Twitter and in X, sorry, Elon Musk. In Reddit is that people who were vibe coding the entire application, they are spending at least 300 or 500 messages to AI. So it's not the tool calls or API calls, it's 300 to 500 messages that you wrote. So for me, it just shows that the number of iterations that you need right now with this version of LLMs, it's still huge. So yeah, you need to iterate and iterate and iterate. This is it. Yeah, thank you guys for such big numbers rating my pitch. Okay, code generation is nice, but sometimes AI agents remove code context that you made in the past. Have any way to ensure that developers make changes that they do not regret? Yeah, so Kelden, there is, so AI can really do mistakes, and what things we help within Refact is, again, rollback functionality. So it's just something that also get back your files. It's not always about the new features that you didn't want. It is sometimes also about the things that it removed and it shouldn't. So if you see that it removed something, just click rollback. You don't need to even manually save the Git after each change. It will do it automatically if you will enable it. So basically, rollback will solve 99% of it. And the 1% is basically when you forgot something and you didn't test, for example, after AI, and then you seen that it did change the things. So I hope that you're using some code management systems like GitHub, GitLab. So in this case, maybe looking for a specific place where rollback would be not the most beneficial thing. So you can just go and get the version which was working. So in short, there are no guardrails that prevent AI from doing it, but you are the guardrail. So you're responsible for the code. And if AI would be able to take the responsibility right now, probably the position of the software engineers would be a bit worse. Okay. What if all the messages are automated? Great question. So if all messages are automated, then at this point we probably need to go and learn some agriculture or something which is not quickly tackable by AI. So what I would just again with messages automation, you can automate some part of it, so you can ask for some detail product requirements from perspective of AI, but I wouldn't recommend to automate any messages, and just prompt by yourself. Refact will refine the prompts for you. Refact will add the context. So you just need to give your raw ideas to our agent. So no need to implement any AI written text. So hi, in your daily work, what is the percentage of code from AI that meets your expectation? So I'm not working as a software engineer. I'm mostly like doing my own projects with Refact. I'm doing also like some quick refactoring of some pieces. So for example, I was working with documentation website of Refact to, automate basically writing and the new pages and so on. But in my perspective, maybe 10 to 15% of the things that I ask AI to implement are not implemented finally. So it's like 85% of acceptance rate for me. But like in reality, I think if you're a software engineer and you are working with big code base, it is still about trying what will work and what will not, but also given not zero shot, try, but also trying several times, and this will also show the growth in this accepted code. Yeah, haha, that's thanks. I look into your product. Thank you, and also please connect with me on LinkedIn. So my name is Ilya Yarmalkevich. You can find me there. And yeah. Oh, and by the way, we'll also have the free trial for everyone who wants to check our solution. So if you register, you will receive the 5,000 coins, which is $5, and you'll be able to try different things and maybe some techniques that I mentioned today. And also, I think after the webinar, we will send the promo codes for those who haven't have the Pro subscription yet. So if you have the Pro subscription, it will not work, but for everybody else, you'll be able to get some extra coins for free. Yeah, and thank you for everyone. I think it was a nice chat, a lot of questions, a lot of interaction this time. Thank you a lot. Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. Okay. I think at this time I will click on the Leave Studio button. So see you guys. Let's stay connected. Join our Discord, try our solution. Let me know in the private messages or in Discord if you have something extra to discuss. Yeah, enjoy your day.